All right, welcome to the Defensive Rotations Masterclass. Let's get into it. As I was saying, on offensive rotations, we have first man here, second man here, third man here, and that creates kind of a triangle. On defense, it's a lot simpler. It's just how close you are to the ball. So here you have first man, here you have second man, and here you have third man because first man's farther or closer to the ball than second man, and then third man will be the one coming through like that. Does that make sense, everyone? I'm going to assume, yeah.
No one has a mic.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. Why is second man on offense ahead of the ball? The reason second man on offense, again, I talked about this in my offensive masterclass, is the goal of second man isn't just to be behind first man, it's to support him. So whether that's a pass mid, whether that's coming off the corner towards mid, they can always slot in behind first man. But I do that positioning just because I want people to learn on offense. It's not just about going for the ball after first man does. It's about positioning yourself so that if you get a pass where the ball comes off the corner, you're ready for it. Does that make sense? If
Yeah.
you have ball cam on, you're still able to watch it when it comes towards you, and you're just slotting like that. So yeah, it shouldn't be. Obviously you don't always have to play ahead, but it's just nice to be ready for a pass. Depends. It's Rocket League. It's all situational. That's so fun. All right, let's hop into first man. Goal of first man on defense. I have two things. The misconception is that the goal of first man is to always just win the challenge. You don't need to do that. The goal of first man should be to create an advantage for your second man on defense. You want to make the touch or the challenge that your second man has to make easier. So sometimes that doesn't mean just going for the ball. Sometimes it means fitting the ball to the back wall so your second man can slot in. Maybe it's leaving the ball so that your second man can come in and you guys don't double commit. Normally, the normal answer is to just challenge the ball as quick as you can. That's normally what you want to do. But there are certain situations where, especially at the higher levels of the game, you want to think next steps about where your second man is in the rotation and being able to position for that. And after you make your touch as first man, as your challenge, there's a few things that you can do. Normally, when you challenge the ball as first man, you're not instantly getting possession. So, what you want to be doing is make sure that after you make your touch, you're actually creating something upfield. Thing that I like to do as first man is when I challenge, I sort of trail upfield like that, going sidewall, and wait for a pass. Because if I do my job right, first man will get the ball because they have an easy challenge. And so it becomes a pass like that, and then I shoot it at the net. It's pretty simple. Another thing you can do is bumping or demoing a player on offense. Yes. Play slow in corners, play fast in the midfield challenges, slow to rotate, but quick to demo midfielder. Yeah, exactly. Another thing I like to do, let me just scroll back, is when you make this rotation back, these people will push up. And people in Rocket League don't look behind them very often. So if you're able to trail and get a demo on this person or this person when you're rotating back post, which we'll get into, it's really good for you to get a demo because it opens up the rotation even more. And it's a numbers game. 3 is more than 2. If you can get a demo, that makes defense 5 times easier for you. And then finally, after you make your rotation, please rotate back post. Does everyone know what back post is? Yep, never demo the guy in the corners because he's out of position, right? Yeah, if you're going, so this is why I say rotate back post, is because if you just rotate like this, here, we'll get rid of all the arrows. If you just rotate like this, think about second man coming in and just the clogging in the corner that you're creating. Same thing with demos. You always want to rotate towards the back post or the other side of the field. You don't want to be clogging up the rotation that is happening here, because if you accidentally double commit with your teammates, that's normally the worst case scenario. The reason I have all of these rotations going through is because the goal of it is to really just make sure that you don't double commit with your teammates. Okay. Any questions about first man before we move on? All right. I'm going to assume no.
One thing,
What's up?
you're good. You're good. Besides the for demos, besides the sweeping method for the net,
Mm-hmm.
is there any more like demo methods that are, honestly meta right now besides doing targeted ones? Like maybe cluster ones
Are you
or
saying
different
on
techniques
defense or on?
offense after first
Oh,
man's done with what they're
um,
doing?
on offense, meta wise, a lot of people are just very bump heavy. So you might have this situation where like first man turns back in like that. Like
Mm,
it, it
it just
really
continues to
just
bumps.
like the thing is the rotation, like the meta right now is just people going into the corner and then either solo playing or passing mid.
Uh,
That's the meta. And then after first man goes, it's really just like a free for all on these players that are rotating in, and
okay.
just like I there isn't really a meta. It's just you got to be very aware all the time of
Of
if someone's trying to
what's
bump
going
you,
on
because
afterwards.
it
Yeah.
is like it is just the meta to be bumping a ton. That's why NA
Okay.
is worse than EU. Yes, because we just play in a cluster.
Yeah.
um, sorry, a question to interrupt, but where there'll be twos coaching as well. So there is a program here where if you go to the one-on-one coaching section, where you can click on a link and it brings you to a website where you're able to um, sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, and we can go over twos replays, we can go over whatever. But I will do a twos masterclass as well later. I'm going to be doing ones next week just to sort of get ones, twos, and threes going. But if you would like more specific coaching for twos, we have that as well on the website and in the one-on-one coaching section. Okay, gonna keep going. Goal of second man on defense. The goal of second man, your first man should make it as easy as possible for second man to do their job. Whether they be private games after the session like before. No, unfortunately, we don't do that anymore. I'm sorry. The goal of second man on defense. I know. I'm sorry. You guys are always welcome to still play after this. I unfortunately have to go do something after this class, but if you guys would like to set something up, feel free. Um, sorry, as I was saying, the goal of second man on defense, it's just to follow up first man's touch. You want to make it, or first man should make it as easy as possible for you to get the touch, but normally it is just making sure that you don't double commit with first man. That's the real goal of playing second man, is you got to wait till first man does his job and then prepare for whatever challenge comes at you. Few things. One, if you are second man, don't play farther than the near post. I prefer you sit back post as second man, because if you sit near post and the ball bumps off like it goes over your head in the corner, if you're sitting here and pointed up like that, it makes it really tough for you to be able to read the ball after it gets challenged by the first man. So my recommendation is, if you're playing second man, you're either playing in the net on the far side or you're playing in this area where you're able to go back wall. Just because it allows you to prepare for all of the options of whatever happens on the first man challenge. Second man, you got to anticipate a lot. You got to be always looking at what's happening in the play. And if you see a 50 coming, prepare for the 50. If you see your first man getting absolutely destroyed, then you want to position farther back so that you can be ready for that challenge to happen. It really is, as second man, all about anticipating what's going to happen. So have that picture in your head of how the play is going to develop, and then position yourself either aggressively or conservatively. To make it easier for yourself, just think where's the ball going to go and put yourself in that spot. Second man does have to be the most adaptable. Second man is just the hardest position to play in Rocket League out of all of the positions. Like even more than first man, because yes, on first man you have to do all the mechanics to get to the ball, but thinking wise and positioning yourself, you always have to be looking at situations and wondering where I should be in the rotation. Second man really sets the pace for the rotation because if they're far away from first man, then you're not going to get a rotation going. And if they're too close to first man, you're double committing. And the same thing. I have this for I think every single slide. Go back post. Please, please, please don't do this rotation. If you're going to make a rotation, go back post like that or, demo someone or trail. It's all about when you become first man, doing those extra things out of the rotation that makes your team get out of defense and you not have to just sit there and get pummeled for 5 minutes straight. It's like waiting for a line. Exactly. It is like waiting for a line. Ways you can make it, we'll get into it, but ways you can make it not like waiting in a line is widening your rotations out so that when you come into second man, you're not just stand still. But we'll get into that. Okay. Finally, third man on defense. This one's really easy. Honestly, third man's the easiest because you are really, it is just waiting in a line, but you are just making sure your only goal is to not double commit with your teammates. That's why I have you positioned this far back. Yeah, backward we'll get into later. Backward we'll get into later. I have this position like close to the back boost because you really want to make sure that you are not interfering with either of these defenders. If you are a third man, you are just waiting to see what happens. You're anticipating not as much as first or second man might, but you still got to make sure that you are in the right spot so that you can make the save. Most of the time in a defensive rotation, third man is the one making the save where they're coming in and having a shot either come through from mid or third man rotating in and doing something. So you got to always be ready to do something as third man. And with that being said, with having to make saves, you want to make sure you have a lot of boost. As you can see, I kind of position the car as third man right next to this big boost because it does matter when you're rotating in as third man to have that boost to be able to make a play. Okay, any questions on first, second, or third man on defense before we keep going? All right, let's keep
If
going.
you were to,
What's up?
you're good. If you were to watch pro for second man, would you say Nolly's a good one,
Mm,
or is he more of a third-ish, third second?
oh, I think honestly, any pro as a second man is really good. The person I like the most is Garrett Chi, just because he
Yeah,
has
I can
to,
see that.
especially last season, him having to support Justin and Squishy was
Uh-huh.
really interesting to watch. But on just to make it more current, the vitality players of Zen and Alpha 54,
Mhm.
and Chicago, yes, Chicago and G2 is a great example as well, where he's making sure that he's watching what Jane Apps and Atomic or back then what they were doing. But Rodosin on Vitality would be a hard first man, just demoing and stuff, and watching how Zen and Alpha position because of how mechanical they are and just how fast of a team they are. Uh, Watching their replays, it's really hard to zero in on a player. It really is just like in different spots, watching how people are rotating in.
So team-wise, Vitality,
Mm-hmm.
which of the three players is the most, I guess, second manish? Would that be Alpha, or I feel like that'd be Alpha.
Yeah, normally Zen would play third man. The meta for Vitality is just give Zen an air dribble, so he would just sit back and do whatever he wanted to. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would say Alpha's really good. He
Okay.
also, I don't know if he picked up air roll left, but he is like one of the only players to not have air roll left. Yeah,
According to Wikipedia, he still has to fucking normal,
yeah,
or yeah.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
that's it.
Cool. Yeah, it's second man, especially like on defense, is a lot of just like watching what happens in the play. So if you're gonna watch a pro play, look at where they position before the ball comes to them. So like when the first man challenge happens, or um, when they're rotating, getting boost, look at where they're going, because whatever they do on ball, like that's good to know, but especially that positioning part on defense, that's really what sets people apart. Zen did second man a lot during an event, but I don't want to fully explain or say anyway. Yeah. Again, it's not about really being stuck, but it's like as a rotation, just making sure second man you put yourself in the right spot. And that takes a lot of just looking at what's happening and trying to put yourself further or closer to the play, depending on what happens from it. Okay, I'm going to keep going. This is pretty simple. This is the defensive rotation. On offense, there is so many different things you could do. You know, you can maybe pass mid. You could have third man fill in as a pass, like all of this. But on defense, most of the time, it is literally just this. You just do a circle. That's it. You just want to make sure that for every rotation you're making, you go like one at a time and don't double commit with each other. I keep stressing you don't want to rotate with each other because it really does matter. Like if you double commit on defense, that's just like curtains for the goal. And yes, hungry for boost and rotation. That's something I'll talk about a little bit later, but make sure you're picking your back boosts up. And that's kind of how I have this rotation going. Obviously, my arrow doesn't fully cover getting this back boost, but back boost is very, very important. Okay, anything on the actual rotation that you're going to be making? All right, let's keep it going. Okay, as I was talking about, boost. Boost is a big thing. Boost is a premium on defense because when you look at the field and how it's cut up between offense and defense, this is the boost you get on defense, and this is the boost you get on offense. Look at the difference of space you guys have there. It's a lot. It is a lot. So these big boosts are so important. That is why there are points as first man. Oh, we just had some people leave. All right. There are points as first man where you want to get the boost over the ball because you know your second man can get there. Boost, especially on defense, is super, super important. Another thing, the boost arc. I have highlighted in blue the boost arc, as you can see on the other side, just to make it a little more discernible for you guys. They are these 6 pads. These pads are really important because when you are being pressured on these parts of the defensive rotation, as you have yourself come around these pads on defense, especially when you're rotating out, being able to make rotations like this or picking up the full line of pads rotating back, as you can see, that's 5 pads right there. That's 60 boosts. That's a lot. This boost arc is really important because there are times where you just don't have the time to go for a mid boost. So what you want to be doing is making sure that when you rotate out like this, picking up some of these boosts or being able to get this big pad in the back. Another thing you can do, I have it in quotes, is sneaking a mid boost. It really is just if you have time, and most people in Rocket League have more time than they think, try sneaking a mid boost on your rotation back. It does 2 things. One, it allows you to not have to take either of these boosts that your teammates can get it, and it gives yourself a 100 boost, and it also steals from them. If you're able to sneak a mid boost like this and maybe trail back and get a demo or doing something that helps your teammates get a lot more time, or maybe you trail like this and then you're able to pick up this back boost and come back in. It's really all about timing and space on defense. It's unfortunately very situational, so there aren't a ton of really big rules. But what I like to think of is if I know my teammates can handle the challenge of whatever's coming mid, like if the ball's not directly shooting mid, you have enough time to be able to pick up a mid boost and come back in. Picking up that mid boost might seem scary because you're putting yourself so far out of rotation, but It allows you to get boost and not just be stuck on 20 boost on the back wall. Okay. Any questions on boost at all? Getting the pad is good because second will 90% be in that direction, so it's an easy demo. Yes, yes. Pad 60% of the time, near mid boost, maybe like 30%, 20% far mid. I don't like putting a ton of percentages on stuff just because then people just have notions of where they should be. But I do think you're right. Like you want more most of the time you want to look for pads, but if you're able to, trying to pick up a mid boost if you have the space. So I'd say instead of a percentage, I would just say an order. Like think about that checklist in your head of where you can go. Okay, backwall defense. This is blue car against blue backwall. This is where the car is, just so you guys can know. Let's talk about backwall defense. Backwall, the more and more you rank up, the more and more backwall is used. In the gold, silver levels of the game, normally no one is playing backwall. But once you get to the champ, grand champ, SSL levels, you want to make sure that you are playing backwall consistently. A rule of thumb is on defense, you want to have at least one person playing backwall just to make it as easy as possible. How to play backwall. Normally, when we'll go back to the rotation just so you can see where people should be. If you are second man or third man, you want to be able to turn backwall. That's why I like this position here instead of here, because you give yourself that option to go backwall or push up. Playing backwall is very important because if the ball goes over the first man and comes toward you, or maybe this guy just slams it off the back wall and goes mid, instead of having to read this angle from here, you are off of the back wall and it just gives you such an easier angle. It makes your life so much easier. So when you are playing ranked and you're thinking about where you should be on defense, if there isn't someone back wall, go back wall. And most of the time you'll realize like, wow, the ball just came to me. It's because most people, it is GG if there's no back wall, because then people are just slamming the ball off the back wall and it's free rebounds. If you're able to play back wall and sit there and wait for clears, it makes your life so much easier as a defense because you have that security blanket of someone being in this area able to go either way from that. How to clear. There are two ways I really want you clearing off the back wall. One is controlling the ball, which means you are hitting the ball with the top part of your car so that you're able to control it and move it either to the sidewall or upfield, or a bang clear where you let the ball bounce off the wall and then this like a quarter second after it bounces, you side flip this way and it sends the ball to the right. If you need a backboard clear pack, please just let me know and I can put the backboard clear pack I have in chat. But we want to be good about making sure that we keep our options open. That's the third bullet point. Yeah, first killer does need to practice that pack. We do want to make sure that when we're on back wall, keeping our options open means that we're not just always going to bang it. We're not just always going to control it. As I've said, Rocket League is very situational. The way you can tell is when you see the ball coming at you, you like the pack? Yeah, give me 1 sec. I can pull it up really quickly. Make a new window really quickly. I got to go to my training packs Google Sheet. 1 sec, guys. Oh, sorry, it's a website. Is it this one? I'm pretty sure it's this pack. Let me just watch this to make sure. Yes, it's this one. Cool, cool, cool. Is it then? I just want to make sure. That might not be it. Sorry, guys. It's taking a sec. I just want to make sure I get it. Here we go. Yeah, this one. Okay. Try this one out. And I will really quickly show in the video just so you guys can see this pack right here. You can pause the video really quick to see that. Okay, cool. Let's keep it going. Clearing the ball. Okay. Everyone look at the map and look at the space that I've highlighted. Normally in an offensive rotation, we have this situation happening. What they are doing is they are creating an overload that makes it harder and harder for you to clear the ball. Clear the ball this way. What we want to do when we're clearing the ball is think about the field more holistically. No right field coverage is crazy. You say that, but that's how a lot of teams play, where they put their third man here and just let the ball go this way. The way you're able to take advantage of it is when you are 50ing and when you are bringing the ball upfield to think more centrally and to the left side of the field. How are you able to take advantage of the left side of the field? If you are second man or you are third man and you see your team take possession of the ball, start pushing upfield for a pass. There are ways to get the ball out of defense and not just hit it forward. So when I say keeping your options open, like I said on Backwall, it's always about not just going from where the ball came from. Don't just do this cycle where you have 3 people just doing this over and over again. You want to be good about pushing yourself towards the mid and giving your teammates options. The ball moves faster than the car does. So if you're able to pass the ball out of a clear, you can make that available by hitting the ball out and having one of your teammates be there for it. And that's also why I say taking space. You want to take space because it really does matter on offense. If you push the ball this way, you have an immediate numbers advantage because you have people trailing back. So taking that space, especially as second and third man in this spot, just allows you to spread out on offense and give your teammate options. This obviously is for a little more advanced, so for the champs and the GCs. All right, any questions about this? Okay, cool. That is it. Any questions?
No, I don't really think I have any, to be honest.
Awesome. Sweet.